Hello, and welcome to the EverGreen Super Bowl with our Super Bowl winning coach. We want to thank you guys all for coming. It's been an exciting day and a half, probably almost 2 days at this point. We have another day to go tomorrow. We're thankful for you guys who have been here to support us so far. It's been a good day, and I'll tell you what's been really exciting about all of us here on the EverGreen Lifestyle Skyline side. I guess I'll keep our football metaphors going. When this company started 6.5 years ago, we had a great first quarter. Our second quarter wasn't quite what we wanted, a turnover or two. But the beautiful thing about football and life and sport, we get second halves and second chances. And I know I've talked to most of you in this room, and it's refreshing and exciting for you guys to allow us a second chance to earn your business. And I think what we showed you out there is exciting to do. Maybe a round of applause for those who helped put it all together. It was actually exciting. I brought my wife and daughter here to look at it, and they actually signed on to be a dealer, so we were excited about that too. What I'd like to do now is turn, two things. When we get down here, please go out and look again. If you haven't bought, please do. And if you already purchased product, thank you. Buy some more. What I'd like to do now, though, is turn it over to a gentleman. It really is the whole reason this is here, whether it be EverGreen in this event, its coach. For those of you who don't know him, he's the past chairman of the RVIA. He is enshrined in that Hall of Fame right over there that's a couple hundred yards away from us. It is our founder and our chairman, Mr. Kelly Rose.
Unlike Coach, he doesn't have any notes, but he's a little smarter than I am. Actually, a lot smarter than I am. So I need a few notes here. Obviously, first of all, how about a round of applause for Doug Coach, Mike Ditka. Success is not permanent, and failure is not fatal. I always tell people I want to live to be 150 years old. You've heard this one many times, Coach. And they ask why? Why would you want to be 150 years old? And he says, well, there's at least a few people I haven't made mad yet. I don't think anything is unrealistic if you believe that you can do it. Effort, I like this one. Effort without talent is a depressing situation. But talent without effort is a tragedy. I love it. First round draft pick by the Bears, 1961. 1961 NFL Rookie of the Year, 5-time All-Time All-Pro bowler, 2-time First-Team All-American Pro Bowler, tight end. Four Super Bowl rings. Actually three Super Bowl rings and one World Champion ring in '63 when starting out for the Bears. They played 2 years. They were not Super Bowl rings there. 2 rings as a player, 2 championship rings as a coach. Hall of Fame, 1988. I could go on and on and on with a long litany list of Mike's accomplishments. I ribbed him a little bit about maybe he didn't know he thought about going to college to be a dentist. After about 2 weeks when he had to take chemistry class, he didn't think he'd go to be a dentist anymore. Did you know that he was a 3-time sports star at the University of Pittsburgh? He fouled out in about 4 minutes when he was guarding Jerry West when they were playing West Virginia. 4 or 5 minutes, he's out of the game. But he played for the basketball team. Power hitting, outfielder for baseball, obviously basketball, All-American. You know, there's a saying that the greater the man, the least amount of words that are needed to be said when you're making an introduction. Many, many, many hundreds of people have made introductions to this man right to my right. I feel a little bit inept, obviously, to follow some of those people's footsteps. But I just want to tell you a quick story about my friend. You know, they say that George Halas was the Papa Bear, obviously from the Chicago Bears. I think it's true to say that Virginia McCaskey would be Mama Bear. Now, who's the baby bear? Well, it could be Mike. It could have been Gail Sayers. It could have been just a couple, but there weren't many baby bears. But let me tell you what, there's only one teddy bear. This guy's right here. You people don't know all the things that Mike does. He travels around the country. He can't say no. He cannot say no to people. He cannot say to philanthropic causes, for kids, for charities, the speaking engagements he does. It is unbelievable. People do not know, and I'm here to tell you, that's what makes this man my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Ditka.
Do I need that? Thank you. I don't know. Can you hear me? Good, okay. Kelly, if BS was cement, you could build a highway to heaven. And these people don't care about all that stuff, I can tell. I tell people all the time it's been a hell of a run. I hope it doesn't end for a while, but it's been a hell of a run. So I got past the three-quarter pole now, so I got to see what's going on. I am so impressed with the success that Kelly Rose has had in the RV industry. And it's hard for me to understand that after playing gin with him. He's a sweetheart of a guy. We got a bunch of guys down at the course we built down in Florida called Old Florida, and we have probably as much fun as I've ever had in my life playing gin and just kibitzing each other, and it's really a good group of guys. So I've had a lot of fun. You know, Kelly told you a couple of things. I can talk about anything. You don't want to hear my politics, gang. I am really conservative. I would really probably hurt somebody's feelings in this room. But there's an old saying in life, you get what you tolerate, and we've tolerated it for 7 years, so that's what we got, period. All right, that's all. Pope's in the country, I'm surprised he didn't call. Thought he might give me a call. He knows I need the help. You know, it's been a hell of a run. I started this thing out in 1961. I'm from Pittsburgh, and I really didn't know much about the Chicago Bears, and you know, the draft in those days was nothing. I got a phone call from George Halas, and he said, he said, you know, we picked you in the, I think the 6th player picked in the first round, and I really didn't know. I had a pregnant wife. I had a Ford Falcon. I had a little trailer on the back before your stuff came out. So I could haul that thing, and I still have memories of going across the Chicago Skyway there. You know, and that was in the spring of 1961, and I had no clue where I was going. And I went to the Bears office was on Madison Street at that time, and I finally figured out how to get to Madison Street. And then I got this car with the trailer on it, and there's no damn place to park the thing, you know. So I pulled into right up in the double parked it, and you know, I don't know, I probably got a ticket, I don't quite remember that. So I went up and told Mr. Halas, I got this trailer down, or somebody got this. So they took it and they put it in the garage. So I went up and I sat down with George Halas. I really didn't know much of, you know, I knew he was the founder of the league and the owner of the Bears and whatever else you want to call it, but I sat down and we had a long discussion. It took about 2 minutes. He said, here's what I'm going to pay you. I had a $12,000 contract with a $6,000 signing bonus. Now remember that. So after the first year, I made All-Pro, Rookie of the Year, all this stuff. So there were no multi-year contracts, so I had to go in and talk to Mr. Hallis again. So I went in, sat down right across the desk from him. He pulled out this notebook. He said, you know, son, he said, you missed curfew twice, and I had to fine you for it. And he did. He fined me $500 each time. And let me tell you what, it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth missing curfew, believe me. Nothing happened. It was stupidity. But anyways, he went on, he said, but I'm going to give you a raise this year. So I said, good, that sounds good. I knew what I made last year. Now, 12 and 6, I knew that. So he said, I'm going to pay you $14,000 this year. I said, Coach, that doesn't make any sense. He said, what do you mean? I said, I made 18 last year. He said, no, you made 12. I said, no, I made 18. I said, I wouldn't sign for a penny less than 18. As soon as I said that, he pulled out a contract for $18,000 and I signed it. I never did get a raise. Now, he knew what he was going to pay me. He wouldn't pay me any more than that. If he could have got me for 14, he would have taken me for 14. But he got it, so he paid the 18. So, but you know, I think back how we thought about money and contract. None of that's important. The 6 years I played in Chicago were the greatest 6 years of my career. I enjoyed them tremendously. He got tired of my act finally in what year was it, 67, and shipped me off to Philadelphia. A lot of you people probably didn't know I played for the Eagles. Don't feel bad, because the people in Philadelphia didn't know it either. So I spent 2 years there, and that was misery, and a lot of it was self-inflicted. And at the end of those 2 years, I had a job. I was making some money, and not a lot, but I was making money. I could support a family. So I decided I would retire from football. And I did retire from football. So it was, what time of the year it was? I guess it was about April. And I had no intention of going back to football. I got a phone call. And here's the way the phone call went. I said, hello. He said, Mike, I'm Tom Landry with the Dallas Cowboys. I said, Coach, how are you? He said, Mike, and here's what he said. He said, Mike, I'm fine. He said, I don't know if you can play football anymore or not, but I just traded for you. Well, that wasn't very damn motivational. But before I could say anything, he said this. He said, I'm willing to take a chance on you if you'll take a chance on yourself. I went down to Dallas. I got in the best shape of my life. And the best football player Mike Ditka ever was in Dallas with the Cowboys. And the reason, I'll tell you why I say that. Because I was a team player. I didn't care about my success or my stats or anything else. I played for the team. I played on a Super Bowl team. It was a great, great thing. I got into business down. I played with Roger Staubach. Him and I were rookies in Dallas together, actually. So it was the greatest thing. And I played for the greatest man I've ever known in Tom Landry. He was... They say Lombardi and him were very similar in two ways. Number one thing in their life was their faith. Number two thing was their family. And number three was football. And I believe that. And that's the way both of them were. So it's been a hell of a run. You know, I played 4 years with them. We won a Super Bowl. And as I said, I got into the nightclub business with a couple guys down there. And I thought I was going to become a multi-millionaire. And so I was in this bar, hangout, whatever it was, one day, and I got another phone call from Tom Landry, and I said, Coach, how are you? He said, good. He said, how's retirement? I said, good. He said, how would you like to be an assistant coach? I never once in my life thought about being a coach, never once, until that moment. And that moment scared me. I looked around and said, give up all this to be a coach? He said, well, I said, when do you have to know, Coach? He said, I'd like to know. He said, give me a call back in the next couple of days. Let me know what you think. I said, okay. I went in and I walked around and I looked at everything, and it was a good sight, man. There were a lot of women in this place, and it was pretty, you know. It was nice. So I went upstairs. We had an upstairs. I came back downstairs. I picked up the phone. I called him back. I said, Coach, I'd like to take that job. And I took that job with him, and I coached tight ends, and I coached special teams. It was the greatest thing I ever did, really, because I learned football from a master, and I learned the game of life from a master, and that changed my whole life. My time in Dallas changed my whole life. I coached for him for 10 years. And after 10 years, 1982, he called me into the office one time, and you never knew. Called me in, he said, how you doing? I said, good. I didn't know if he was going to say you're done or you're fired or whatever. He said, George Hallis called me. I said, really? Yeah. He said, he wants to hire you for a head coach. Well, I couldn't really function with that. I didn't really understand it. And I looked at him and I said, Coach, you think I'm ready for that? Because I had a pretty comfortable life in Dallas. Because the blame went to the guy that wore the hat. It didn't come to me. It went to the guy that wore the hat. So I was in a pretty good situation. Had a nice house, everything was good. And he says, you're ready. So I came to Chicago and took the job. And I say, when I sat down with Mr. Hallis in 1982, just like I did in 1961, it was the same thing. He screwed me. I had the lowest coaching contract in the league, and I didn't give a damn. Because I had an opportunity to coach the Chicago Bears. And if I made it, they would know who I was, and if I didn't, nobody would ever remember me. It didn't matter. So I didn't care what he paid me. I never cared what he paid me the whole time I was there. I never had a big contract, never needed one. That's the way it was. So it was a great run. It changed after Coach Hallis passed. He never got to see the championship team. The championship team was one of the greatest things we put together, but it was done with everybody. It was done with a guy named Jerry Venisi, who was my general manager. There was a guy named Bill Tobin, who was my director of player personnel. And we picked those players, the ones that weren't already there. Now, there were a lot of good ones there when I got there. The cupboard was not bare. There was Fensick, and there was Singletary, and there was Hampton, and there was guys.